Hello everybody, welcome back to the Craft Beer Hub. I've got another beer review for you, and it is of this. It's a beer that I got a couple of months ago when I was in France, and I was attracted to this beer by the Brooklyn label. Now generally, the Brooklyn lager that everyone would have, they see that Brooklyn label, there's different colours. It's normally green, black and sort of silvery gold, I think. Normally you'll see that logo stamped on the front of their lager. Brooklyn lager, normally see it in and around London. Don't really see it out in the countryside where I live. But that logo became synonymous with their lager. I didn't see it anywhere else. So when I saw that they've made a Hazy IPA at 6% called Pulp Art, I thought, I'm going to buy that. It wasn't expensive. It was probably about €2-3, not a lot of money at all. But yeah, it did intrigue me because I thought, as much as I'm not that bothered about Brooklyn's lager, I thought maybe they'd brew a really good IPA. Some of those beers that I had in France, some of the supermarkets I've had in France was really good. I had a double New England IPA that was just out of this world from Orbit Brewing. So yeah, for a few euros, it was worth a go, wasn't it? I don't know a lot about Brooklyn other than that. I'm recording this in October. I actually saw, like when you go to Tesco's and they do the pallets of produce, they literally put the pallet on the shop floor. I saw that Brooklyn have got a pallet on the shop floor selling their Brooklyn Pilsner. So maybe they're going to be entering the UK market a bit stronger. But yeah, like I say, only ever really used to see their lager. Let's get this open then. There we go. I'm going to get it in my glass pretty quick because the head's going to pour out. Nice smoky bottle opening. There is a bit of sediment in the bottom of this glass, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get most of it out and give it a good swish around because this bottom bit should be really cloudy. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Look how cloudy this goes. This is why you should always do this and get all the flavour out of your bottles and cans. Ready? It'll be a different beer now, trust me. Yeah, there you go. Like I say, 6%, Pulp Art, quite cool bottle wrap as well, kind of funky sort of 60s, 70s vibes going on there. And it looks great in the glass. We've got a dark straw colour beer, hazy as you like, sediment at the bottom. The glass is a bit dirty, but sediment at the bottom, sediment for days really. One finger white head, white foamy head that's going to go nowhere anytime soon. Overall, it absolutely looks the part. Let's get an aroma then, see what we get on the nose. Cool, grapefruit, orange peel, definitely the bitter end of the fruit. There's a grassy sort of straw character to this. Bit of melon. But yeah, the bitter end of the fruit. If you're going to think fruity IPAs, it's going to be the more bitter end, which I'm absolutely fine with as long as it's good quality. Cheers, everybody. It's all right. It's all right. The flavours are actually pretty decent. I've just looked at the back of the bottle for the date because I have had this a little while and I was kind of wondering, obviously hops do phase, the hop potency and the taste and aroma, and the hop potency that brings you those sort of tastes and aromas in beer, that does fade over time, but there's 4 months left on this beer. And the reason I looked at that was because the sweetness is there, the mouthfeel's there, it's nice, and there's wafer malts up front that are there and then they're gone. There's a slight hint of those flavours to the tail end of the beginning and the middle of that beer. And it is your more bitter flavours like your orange grapefruits. A nice sweet citrus. But very quickly that all fades away. And it seems like the bitter end in this beer starts quite early. And it kind of makes you think, yeah, it's average. It's really, really average. If the flavours in that beer lasted and then developed onto something else, that'd be really quite nice. The beginning of the beer is lovely. Those wafer malts, it's a slight hint of sweetness. The grapefruit and melon hit you first, and then it follows up with the orange zest. But then very quickly it goes very bitter. And there's not much else after that. If I'm honest, it feels like, and it's the better end of the scale, but it feels like a big brewer's had a go at making an IPA. Do you know what I mean? It's not quite. Obviously, it's Brooklyn. They're going to be a big company. They're everywhere in London. They're in the supermarkets. Their lager's been sold for years. There was a big selection of Brooklyn beers on the supermarket shelf in France. So obviously they are a decent size, but yeah, it's just not quite hitting the spot for me. Let's have a look at the bottle then. Brewed and filled. Oh, just companies that they brew this for. UK ingredients: water, malted barley, malted oats, hops and yeast. Okay, it's imported by Carlsberg. So where's it actually brewed then? Does it say? Does it say where it's brewed? Does anyone know? Oh. The Brooklyn Brewery by Brooklyn, Stockholm. So are they Swedish, Brooklyn? Are they Swedish? I always thought they were American just by the name and the kind of font and everything. It looks like, I say, sort of 50s, 60s American on the logo. But yeah, doesn't quite hit the spot. The flavours are nice, but it's there and gone. The mouth feels good. It just doesn't quite hit the spot the way a 6% IPA should. Yeah, not that bothered if I'm honest. What am I going to rate it? It's not undrinkable by any means. It's just not that great. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think that's pretty fair. I believe I've got another Brooklyn beer in the fridge. Have I? Yeah. I've got another one. I think it's a West Coast IPA. So that'd be interesting to see what that's like. But yeah, overall this one didn't really hit a spot for me. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Have you had any other Brooklyn beers? Is this a one-off? Are they actually quite good with their IPAs? They do brew a few. Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you would be so kind. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.